All right, volleyball parents, settle in. Because today we're taking a deep dive into a document that is, well, absolutely crucial for anyone navigating the exciting, sometimes overwhelming world of competitive youth volleyball. We're talking about the What's New 2025-2026 manual from the OVA, and this deep dive is custom tailored for you, especially if you're a parent with maybe 0 to 2 years of experience with your child in this sport. Our mission to unpack the most important nuggets, clarify the changes that are coming next season, and give you a real shortcut to being well informed. Today, our focus is specifically on the girls' traditional limited specialized, or TLS, and girls' 15U divisions.
Absolutely. And these documents, they can be incredibly dense, just filled with acronyms and details that might not immediately make sense. Our goal is to cut through that, highlight the key elements that truly impact your athlete's experience, and help you understand not just what is changing, but more importantly, why it matters for your daughter's development and, well, her enjoyment in the sport.
Okay, so all this foundational philosophy sounds great on paper, but how exactly does it translate into the actual rules and structures we'll see on the court? What are the key ways the OVA's competition streams are specifically aligning with these principles?
That's the million-dollar question for parents, isn't it? The focus on delaying specialization is incredibly important. The sources highlight that an early, intense focus on winning rather than broad skill development and specializing in one sport too soon can actually lead to player burnout, an increase in overuse injuries, and a decline in overall motivation. When you ask young people why they play sport, it's consistently for fun, the challenge being part of a team, and for self-improvement. These changes are deliberately designed to foster those intrinsic motivations, recognizing that, childhood success is not a reliable predictor of future success in the long run. It's about creating a balanced, long-term approach to development that keeps kids engaged and loving the game.
Okay, with that foundational understanding in place, let's peel back the layers and get into the nitty-gritty of the specific changes. For many of you listening, your daughter might be entering or continuing in the traditional limited specialized, or TLS division, which used to be called 14U. What are the absolute key updates parents need to know for the 2025-2026 season for TLS girls? So, in terms of the actual competition, how does the TLS season structure look? What can parents expect their daughter's season to entail?
The season is structured with 4 regular season events. You'll hear them called the Provincial Cup, Challenge Cup, McGregor Cup, and Bugarski Cup. For the first 2 events, the Provincial and Challenge Cups, girls' teams will self-declare into one of 3 tiers. Select for more advanced teams, Championship for intermediate teams, or Trillium for developmental teams. This self-declaration is actually a pretty smart move because it helps create balanced matches right from the outset, allowing teams to compete at an appropriate level. A really important detail here. Points earned at the Provincial Cup will not count towards a team's top 2 average for Ontario Championship seeding. This truly underscores the developmental rather than purely competitive focus of those early events.
So those first 2 events are more about finding the right fit and learning rather than immediately chasing rankings. That makes a lot of sense for younger players, right?
Exactly. It's about growth, not just wins. Then, for the 3rd and 4th events, the McGregor and Bugarski Cups teams will be realigned into divisions like Premier, Select, Championship, and Trillium based on their performance average from the first 2 events. This means teams can move up or down based on how they're progressing, ensuring competitive matches throughout the season.
What are some of the key differences or specific rules that parents, especially those new to competitive volleyball, should be aware of?
All right. The net height for females in TLS is 2.15 meters. Substitutions follow fair play rules for all TLS events, which is fantastic because it ensures equal playing time for everyone on the roster. Every player gets significant court time. Importantly, there is no libero permitted in TLS. This is a deliberate choice, to ensure all players get to experience playing all positions, developing a broader range of skills. And here's a key detail for parents watching from the sidelines. Receiving a serve with an overhand pass using fingers is not permitted. It'll result in a fault. This rule encourages players to develop fundamental forearm passing technique, which is really a building block for more advanced skills later on.
What about specialization in positions? That's often a big question for parents of younger athletes.
You're right, and it's handled very thoughtfully in TLS. For the first 2 events, Provincial and Challenge Cups, they are considered all-position events, so no specialization allowed. This means teams will typically run what's called a 6-6 system. In a 6-6, as players rotate, everyone gets a turn at various positions, serving, hitting, setting, fostering that broad range of skills. The setter can come from positions 1, 2, or 3, but that designated setter position has to stay the same for the entire set. Then, for the 3rd and 4th events, McGregor and Bugarski Cups, limited specialization is introduced. Teams can use 6-2, 4-2, or 6-3 systems. But crucially, a 5-1 system, which uses only one primary setter, is still not permitted. This is a deliberate design choice to support developing all-around skills while still allowing some strategic depth as the season progresses.
And I also noticed something about serving regulations for TLS, like a limit.
Yes, good catch. There's a 5-serve maximum per serving position. This isn't just an arbitrary rule, it's a clever mechanism, especially for these younger age groups. It's designed to prevent one dominant server from kind of monopolizing the game. It ensures more players get active opportunities to serve, receive, and play the ball, fostering rallies and keeping the game dynamic. If a team serves 5 straight points from one position, they rotate and a new server begins. For lining and scoring, new for 2025-26, TLS will now follow the 4v46v6 rally ball protocol. What this means is parents or team volunteers will act as both scorers and linespersons. This ensures full participation from adult supporters and critically removes that responsibility from the athletes themselves. Also new for 25-26, the policy of no side switching between sets has been expanded to all regular season events, including TLS. A side switch will only happen if the head referee determines a clear advantage on one side before the match begins, so don't expect to swap sides after every set anymore.
All right, so that gives you a comprehensive look at the TLS division, which is really about building those core skills and fostering a love for the game. Now, let's fast forward a bit to the 15U level. If TLS was the foundational training ground, 15U is where your athlete starts to put those building blocks together in more strategic ways. They'll encounter rules that bridge into the more traditional adult game, but still with a strong eye on development. And the competition structure for 15U, how does it differ from TLS? Is it more complex?
A bit, yeah. The 15U girls division utilizes multiple tiers: Premier, Select, Championship, Trillium White, and Trillium Green. Initial placement for the first event, the Provincial Cup, is based on a team's TLS end-of-season rankings from the previous year. Realignment occurs after each event: Provincial, Challenge, and McGregor Cups. Typically, first-place teams from a lower division move up, and maybe 7th to 9th place teams from a higher division move down. This dynamic realignment ensures competitive balance throughout the season.
What about the playing rules at 15U? How do they evolve from TLS?
Okay, for 15U, the net height increases slightly to 2.20 meters, a step up from TLS. Game ball remains the Mikasa VQ200W OVA. Substitutions here move to the 12 limited rule. This is a step up from the full fair play in TLS. It means each player can enter the game once and exit once per set. So if your daughter gets subbed out, she can come back in later in that set, but only for one more entry. It gives coaches a bit more strategic flexibility while still ensuring significant playing time. Importantly, no libero is permitted in 15U, similar to TLS, continuing that emphasis on all-around skill development. But here's a key difference: from TLS, athletes are permitted to receive a serve with an overhead pass at the 15U level.
What about fair play at this level? Is it the same as TLS?
So while in TLS, fair play rules apply to all events, ensuring equal starts throughout the season, for 15U it's a bit different. Here, fair play applies only during pool play matches, including the initial days of Ontario Championships. This means coaches must still ensure a balance of starting players during the preliminary rounds, typically making sure 12 different players start either the first or second set. If the match goes to 3 sets, the 13th or 14th player must start the third set or the first set of the next match. But as the competition progresses into elimination brackets, that strict fair play rule on starting positions is lifted, allowing coaches to make more performance-based decisions.
What does all of this mean for parents stepping up to this level, especially regarding game day responsibilities like lining and scoring? Different from TLS, right?
Yes, it is. For lining and scoring in 15U, each team provides one athlete to act as a line judge for their own team, and one volunteer, parent or supporter, for scorer or assistant scorer.
Okay, we've covered the specifics for TLS and 15U, but there are some general updates in the What's New 2025-2026 document that apply across the board and are essential for you to know regardless of your daughter's division.
Yes, these are foundational elements for the upcoming season that every parent should be aware of. First, regarding membership and registration. All athletes, coaches, and club staff must register in the OVA Membership Registration System, or MRS. Think of it as their central online hub before participating in any club activity, including tryouts. A $0 trial player role is available initially, but a full paid membership is required before the first club practice. Membership fees have increased for 2025-2026. The total competitive membership fee, including Volleyball Canada and OVA fees plus HST, is now $101.41.
And there's also a requirement for parents themselves, right? The respect and sport thing.
That's correct. The Respect and Sport parent module is mandatory for one parent or guardian per household. It's a $12 online course. Good news is it can be transferred between sports, which is helpful if you have kids in multiple activities. The deadline is November 30th or before your child's first event, whichever comes first. It's all about fostering a positive sideline environment.
Wow, that was a lot to cover, but hopefully you now feel much more equipped with the knowledge needed to navigate the upcoming competitive volleyball season for your daughter in the TLS or 15U girls divisions.